I always think of, I'm making this audio later. I always think that I'm making archaeology or anthropology for the future. So an archaeologist of the future could watch my video and learn something. So to the future, you're welcome. So this was day one, a couple weekends back, trying to do a stain match. It's not quite, wait, listen. It's not quite the stain match from hell. But it's not the easiest. So that was day one. I think this is day two. I was just recording what I had to do. I decided on a base coat of golden oak, because whenever you're doing stain matches, it's hard to build in all the age of the patina, because old school polyurethane's all oil, and it ages, and it yellows. Plus the restain to begin with. And starting from scratch, it's hard to tell what to do. So this is day two. I'm a little more organized. Got my shit all set up. Got my golden oak Minwax. It's kind of like my go-to fail-safe, because it gets the yellow in as an undercoat. And the yellows, it's hard to get something yellow enough and dark enough and red enough. So I find often I have to do 3 coats. 1 coat dealing with the yellow, 1 coat dealing with the dark, and 1 coat dealing with the reddishness, if there's reddishness. Duller, paler stains are sometimes easier to match. So this is the same stain process on the plywood and the regular wood, because the cabinets are made with the plywood, the floor and the trim's made with the wood. So just got to check it out. Now, of course, this top coat stain on my samples are wet, and they're going to dull up a bit. You'll see that later in the video, where it looks good for a minute, and then it kind of dulls. So I'm going to need a 3rd coat, but this is right before I apply the 2nd coat. Yeah, one of the reasons why this is like quote-unquote the stain matching job from hell is because it's not really, but because it's because of the floor. But I've done like hundreds of stain matches, if not thousands. So I just these days get a grab bag and go from there. My boss threw these stains together, dropped them off for me, and they were there when I got there, so I just made a few samples with what was on hand and went from there. This is still just day 2, Sunday. Golden oak was on the Saturday. So yeah, that looks pretty good, but you can see where some of the reddishness, and of course the stain takes, it's funny, well, it's not funny, but aged grain and stained grain are opposite. So in the grain of the old wood, what's dark is light in the new stained wood, and what's light is dark, or at least that's quite often the case. So it's illusion. All painting is illusion. What would places look like nowadays without paint, right? Back in the old days when shit was maybe, there was paint long ago, but when things were all natural, you build something, you don't paint it, and it looks the way it looks, and it is what it is. But these days, it's all just a little bit natural, a little bit synthetic, a little bit natural, a little bit synthetic, and the paint. I'm an illusionist. I'm a kind of an illusionist, and doesn't necessarily make me happy. But it's nice to have pretty things. Why not? So yeah, I'm just checking out, like, that's my first floorboard second coat stain, and on the right side of the blue tape it's the new stain, on the left side it's the old stain. So yeah, while it's fresh and with the angle it looks good. I'm sure once I go back there, I haven't been back there for a week and a half. Oh, there we go, a rock that has not been hammered or chiseled. That's a Abraham reference. um, but yeah, just kind of checking it out at different angles, seeing how it looks. No one's ever gonna fucking notice anyway. No one gives a shit. People are gonna walk in, drop their keys, grab a beer, you know. This is an addition that's part of COVID.